Father and Daughter, Paul Simon. A touching, moving, catchy song that has some really complicated stuff in it. Now, when he plays this live, he does it a little simpler than the studio version, but he usually has a band with him. And there are a lot of different ways I had a lot of different thoughts as I was putting this lesson together, and unfortunately, I decided to try to combine all kinds of things, getting in like what the bass is doing. Paul is playing just kind of a simple little thing. You can barely hear his guitar in live versions. But what I've tried to do in this lesson is get the chords along with the bass part. We've got some percussion in there. We've got some unusual chords. Some little bass things that are really important. We're even going to try to play that the little lick and get the bass part in there. We're going to take a look at the solo. Kind of dress it up and get it really fancy. There's some nice chords in there. So anyway, once I'm done with all this, you should have this is going to be a big challenge, but you should have a good way to play through and sing this song pretty much by yourself. We're going to take a look at an ending they threw in later. So, hang with me, and we're going to break this down into some of these segments coming up are just like 2 measures long. This is going to be really detailed, and I hope you enjoy taking a look at this lesson on Paul Simon's Father and Daughter. There is what the right hand is doing in the measure of C that we would use as an intro before we start the verse. And so this is a technique that's going to require a lot of practice. What we're doing is, if you take a look at the tab, this is the last measure of the second line. We're going to hit the C in the bass first, and pretty much you're going to use your 3 fingers on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. We don't really need to hear much of the 1st string throughout any of this song, but there will be times when we grab them, and you might grab those 4, or you might grab these 4, but you pretty much keep your hand in a grabbing position. So what we have here is a bass note on the 1st beat, and then a light little strum on beat 2. 1, 2, and then we have a dotted 8th note and a quick up across that we're going to kill instantly by flattening out your left hand and even putting your right hand down. So we're doing a double mute technique here. And I'm putting my hand right back down on the strings, ready to grab them on the and of 3 and the and of 4. So just practice that first. Bass, light strum, and a little up with your index finger. Now that down I'm doing with my middle fingers, my 2nd and 3rd fingers. And then I'm killing the strings right after it. So very staccato on the up, which would be, again, a dotted 8th and a 16th. And then 2 grabs on the and of 3 and the and of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. A lot of Paul Simon songs have slightly unusual things happen in the arrangement, and verse 3 is completely different from the other 2. Although it follows the same progression, it just has vocals in measures where we didn't have them before. So there are vocals over the measures of C where there weren't in the first 2 verses. But we can make this really fancy. So you could just start verse 3 by playing it and not singing. And this would come out of the first chorus. now start singing, trust your intuition, it's just like going fishing. But we could make this even cooler, because what they do during those two measures, where the progression is where the verse has started but there are no vocals yet, is they play the lick. Trust your intuition. Now, so that's what I have in the tab. And there are a few different ways you could choose to finger this. But what I would do is start with that. What we're trying to do is play this bass line, F, E, D, G, at the same time as we play